Good morning, and welcome to another First Five. When I was younger, I was the kid that on Christmas Eve almost never got a wink of sleep because I was just too excited about the happenings of the next day. Mainly the surprise that was going to be waiting for me under a Christmas tree wrapped in. I was excited for gifts. The anticipation drove me crazy. I just had to know. I was too excited to even rest. And so I would be the first one up. My parents always had a time that was like ridiculously early in the morning. And they're like, you can't wake us up before then, because they knew when the clock struck 6 or whatever time it was, I was going to be knocking on their door because I was ready to end the anticipation and arrive at the situation. In Matthew chapter 2, we see anticipation boiling up inside of people. But unlike me on Christmas Eve, not all anticipation is exciting. There's the other side of anticipation that's much more like having a big test the next day, where you're nervous and anxious. Both sides of anticipation drive us to do things. So pay attention in Matthew chapter 2 as we see both sides of the power of anticipation, because it drives us to be certain types of people. In Matthew chapter 2, starting in verse 1, it says, "After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, 'Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him.' When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Christ was to be born. 'In Bethlehem in Judea,' they replied, 'for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will be the shepherd of my people, Israel.' Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, 'Go and make a careful search for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me so that I may too go and worship him.' After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshiped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold and of incense and of myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route." Anticipation has to do with how we understand what we're anticipating. The Magi understood the coming of Jesus, the coming of Israel's Messiah, to be an exciting event. They just couldn't wait to get there. They were so excited to meet their king, the one who had come to save them. King Herod, on the other hand, understood this differently. And part of it is because he was King Herod. Anyone else called king would have been a threat to King Herod. And so he actually misunderstood the coming of Jesus. He misunderstood the good that Jesus could bring the world because it was a threat to him. Being shaped by the world, King Herod was selfish, while the Magi saw what could be. As you go throughout life and you go throughout your walk with Jesus, and you go throughout anything, it's important that you keep proper perspective and understanding in front of you. Because when we misunderstand something, we may anticipate it incorrectly. Make sure you know when stuff is exciting and anticipate it as such. Don't get confused or bogged down on your own selfish natures like King Herod may. When someone else has something exciting in their life, anticipate it with them and be excited. Don't be selfish and frustrated that it's not happening for you. The power of anticipation shapes us to do drastic things, which if you keep reading on, you find out exactly why the Magi weren't going to go back to King Herod, because King Herod had some evil plans waiting for them. I hope this is helpful today, and I hope that you continue to anticipate the Lord with joy and gladness, and that you don't let it get twisted in your mind as something that could be bad, because Jesus is exciting and he's for you. Have a great day.